Now you're a level even higher. Shine on, be the man. Right into the sun. Stay strong, you can make it if you know inside you have the answer. Shine on, time to play. Game on, nothing left in your brain. Very close to victory. The finish line for you and me. Never give up the path to your destiny.
Hey guys, Sam right here, back in with another episode of the Pokemon Sword and Shield series, Champions Road. On the last episode, the group have just left Hammerlock and on their way to Stow-Inside. Ash has recently found out that B is a fighting type gym leader. Along with that, the Gyms and Galar have a split kind of condition, where sometimes they'll have two gym leaders that the challengers can have a choice of fighting on a certain day. Now they're in Route 6, having some lunch and doing some training. There's currently a training battle going on between Ash's Sobble and Elaine's Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur has come a long way. It's definitely way better than it was when Elaine caught it episodes ago. It's using moves with absolute flawlessness and it's come a really long way. It's learned a bunch of new moves and it's even starting to master the move Solar Beam. Ash couldn't be more pleased with this along with the rest of the group. Ash, getting memories of his own Bulbasaur, is saying that it might be time for Bulbasaur to evolve soon enough, as Bulbasaur tend to evolve around the same time each year. Elaine is really excited for this, along with Bulbasaur herself. Bulbasaur, it couldn't be more excited. She wants to get stronger along with Elaine and has grown really attached to her. Meanwhile, Sobble has also come a long way. Its disappearing ability is nearly second to none, and Ash plans to use this strategy against his match with B. Now we can cut to where Chairman Rose and a member of Macrocosmos are talking. They're having a conversation about releasing a wishing star in an area, except this wishing star is incredibly more potent. This wishing star can cause a raid battle and create a stronger Dynamax Pokemon than the usual one. They're getting ready to release it in Route 6. It's a generally uninhabited area and generally known as the Wastelands of Galar. However, when a member of the Macrocosmos tells Rose that this might be a bad idea to the historical landmarks there, Rose shrugs it off, saying that it's a worthy sacrifice and that at most it will look like a freak occurrence and nobody would be able to tell. They end up releasing the wishing star. Now at first, they just see a wishing star shooting across the sky, and at first the group ignores this as somebody will find it eventually and that means they can use Dynamax as well. This is always going to be a good thing. However, the sky later turns into a dark purplish kind of color, and this is when we get a G-Max Sandaconda tearing up through the route and on its way to Stow-Inside. Ash and Co see this and start dashing towards the Pokemon. This is when we can cut to Stow-Inside. We see B and Alistair seeing this Pokemon in the distance. This Pokemon doesn't look like it has a trainer, and they didn't even know how it Dynamaxed without even being in a Dynamax boosted area like the stadium or in the wild area. The Pokemon's going on a rampage right outside the city, so Alistair and B make a decision. Alistair will help evacuate citizens while B goes to take it head on. Ash and Co manage to make it just in time right before it demolishes another building. They enter into a raid battle, Ash sending out his Sobble, Elaine sending out her Bulbasaur, Chase sending out Farfetch, and this time they get a special force helper being B, and B sends out her Grapplock. The battle that they have is incredibly intense and struggling. This G-Max Pokemon is nothing to laugh at. It seems even more powerful and even more irritated than normal. Its moves are nothing to be a shock at either. Ash, remembering fighting Raihan Sandaconda, he definitely knows what he has to do. He told Sobble to use his quick and nimbleness to get on top of the rocks that Sandaconda throws whenever it uses a move. Sandaconda is still crazy powerful. However, the battle still goes on, and it's going on heavy. But B is impressed by Ash's innate tenacity and skill and drive not to give up in this battle, and it ends up boosting her to try even harder, along with Chase. However, when the battle looks like it's getting to its dire, Elaine manages to Dynamax her Bulbasaur, except the energy from the Dynamax allows Bulbasaur to evolve into Ivysaur. Ivysaur now incredibly more powerful, decides to use one of its max moves. This manages to do a whole ton of damage to G-Max Anaconda, however it doesn't take it down, and G-Max Anaconda and Ivysaur are in a stalemate. 3 turns eventually pass, and Ivysaur reverts back to its normal state, a bit weakened. Farfetch'd is also a bit weakened. Ash, knowing that this fight can't go on for any longer, or else it'll come to a really dire circumstance, knows that he has to make one decision. Sobble, now with a torrent boosted move, he requests Sobble to use a water pulse. This water pulse manages to confuse Anaconda. Ash, taking hold of the confusion, throws a Pokeball and ends up catching this G-Max Pokemon. After the chaos dies down, Bee thanks them for their help. She asks who these travelers are. Ash revealing who he is, she's actually very surprised as Raihan told her about Ash and he's been watching his gym battles. She's very excited to actually fight Ash as she knows that he's the Alola champion. Chase being excited to fight Bee as well, but Bee dejects his offer and saying that he can actually move Ash right up, but they won't be able to have their gym battle for a couple of days as Anaconda still did destroy a good amount of the city. Once everything dies down for a minute, we get to see Leon again, and Leon is incredibly dejected that he couldn't get here sooner. We also get to see Bede, Hop, and Marnie make it to the city as well. Lucas is on his way, and they don't know where Rinto and Peonia are. But back to Leon. Leon is incredibly dejected that he couldn't get here sooner and end up stopping the calamity. However, he promises not to let this happen again and promises to stay in Stowaside to help reassure the citizens that everything is okay. Rose eventually makes it there as well, and Rose recommends to Leon that they should have some sort of festival to lift everybody's spirits. Bee likes this idea, saying that the Sinnoh Festival was already going to happen later on, so they can just fuse the 2 festivals together. When Ash inquires about the Sinnoh Festival, she reveals that Galar is like an international hub for a bunch of regions to show off their cultures. Regions like Sinnoh, Unova, and Hoenn have all had these kinds of festivals before. So now that it's time for Sinnohs, they all get very excited, Ash wondering what Pokemon they were going to bring as he's been to Sinnoh a good time before. Just when the boat is coming in with all the Sinnoh Festival stuff, Ash gets reintroduced to 3 people that he recognizes. First up is Barry. Barry and Ash hit each other on the head like they always do in the past, and Barry says that he's going to find him. However, once realizing it's Ash, they do have a heartfelt reunion, talking about what they've done so far. Barry saying that he's getting stronger, along with Ash saying that he's gotten stronger. The next person they re-meet is Cynthia, the champion. Barry is a part of the Sinnoh Festival this year, and he's planning to promote a certain thing that they'll look forward to. Cynthia is also surprised to see Ash and Galar, but she isn't too shocked as Galar has a thriving gym culture, and she figured that Ash would eventually make his way here one day. She knows that Ash is now the Alola champion and congratulates him on his title. It's been a while since they've seen each other, so that's why she's gonna get to congratulate him earlier. And finally, the person that he meets last is Dawn. Dawn is here to promote contests in the Sinnoh region, and they do their high five like they do in normal canon, and it's generally a grand time. Ash is very excited for the Sinnoh Festival upon hearing that there's going to be a tournament and the winner of that tournament gets to fight Cynthia. However, this is when we get reintroduced to Peonia and Rinto, and Peonia is able to bring Ash, Rinto, and Lucas, who all had interest in entering this tournament against Cynthia, back into a tent. She says that they can't really enter because they need referees, and they're the 3 strongest trainers they have there. But Cynthia does make a consolation prize, since those 3 will be the referees and the only referees of the tournament since all of this festival was last minute, that she would allow them to fight them 3-on-1 against her. The boys think about it and take up this offer. And in the next episode, we'll see how the festival unfolds. Elaine and Chase will have their gym battle with Alistair and Bee respectively, and Ash will have his gym battle with Bee next after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This episode is a bit shorter, but that's because the big thing did happen, but yeah, next week we're gonna have a lot more. Well, actually not next week, next time we're gonna have a lot more. So with all that being said, Samurai out.